Welcome back to the channel. Today I have a success story using the law of assumption, but this success story is a little different than most of the ones that you've heard. This one is extremely powerful because it involves rituals and routines. And in this story, this couple actually had something that was stolen from them. But this item that was stolen from them, they had certain rituals that they did with this item before it was stolen. But after it was stolen, they decided to use the law of assumption and say, you want to know what? We're going to pretend that this thing was never stolen from us, and we're going to continue in our imaginations to do the same routine that we did before it was stolen in our imaginations. So when they did this, it actually caused the 3D world to bring the item back to them because they continued with the same rituals that they did with the item before it was stolen. So after it was stolen, they still continued the same rituals every single day and the same routines as if they still had it. And then it was brought back to them. So this is a pretty amazing story I'm going to share with you today. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. All right, so this is the story of a couple living in Sacramento, California, who refused to accept the evidence of their senses, who refused to be robbed in spite of a seeming loss. The wife had given her husband a very valuable wristwatch. The gift doubled its value because of the sentiment he attached to it. They had a little ritual with the watch. Every night as he removed the watch, he gave it to her and she put it away in a special box in the bureau. Every morning she took the watch and gave it to him to put on. But one morning the watch was missing. They both remembered playing their usual parts the night before. Therefore the watch was not lost or misplaced, but stolen. Then and there they determined not to accept the fact that it was really gone. They said to each other, this is an opportunity to practice what we believe. And I love that about this story because they didn't react to the 3D world. Even though the watch was stolen, they didn't allow the 3D world and what was happening in the 3D world to actually dictate what their feelings were going to be or their feeling states were going to be from this. They actually took this as an opportunity to practice what they believe using the law of assumption, acting as if or disregarding the facts of the 3D world, but actually going within because the world is really you pushed out, your imagination pushed out and projected out. But if you're reacting to your 3D world, then there's going to be a sequence of events that are going to line up that match that. So if they were to react to this, then there would be a series of events that would take place that would demonstrate that the watch is actually missing and they would never get it back. But they took their power back and they wanted to practice and this opportunity or use this opportunity to practice what they believe. So they decided to use their imagination, decided that in their imagination that they would still continue their customary rituals as though the watch were still actually there. Like they're not reacting to their 3D world. They're actually going into their imagination and they're still doing the same rituals as if the watch was never stolen in the first place. So in his imagination, the husband's imagination, every night he would take off the watch and then give it to his wife. Still, while in her imagination, she accepted the watch and carefully put it away. Every morning, she removed the watch from its box and gave it to her husband, and he, in turn, put it on. This they did faithfully for 2 weeks. And after their 14-day exercise or vigil, a man went into the one and only jewelry store in Sacramento where the watch would be recognized. And as this man offered a gem for appraisal, the owner of the store noticed the wristwatch he was wearing. Under the pretext of needing a closer examination of the stone, he went into an inner office and called the police. After the police arrested the man, they found in his apartment over $10,000 worth of stolen jewelry. In walking by faith, not by sight, this couple attained their desire, the watch, and also aided many others in regaining what they had seemed to be lost forever. So not only did this imaginal exercise work for them, they actually helped a lot of other people that had a lot of other jewelry that was stolen from them as well. So you can use this in any aspect of your life, no matter what's going on in your life. Disregard the 3D and go through your rituals. Like if you have certain rituals in your life and something screws that up, like say, for example, you had a high paying job and all of a sudden you got fired from this job, and your rituals of that job were getting up at 5 a.m., working out early, doing all these different rituals and routines for that job, and you got fired from that job, continue to stay with that same routine over and over and over and over and over, and then something else, that door will open back up. It'll stay open. It'll never close, and something will happen to either get you that job or get you another job very similar or even better than that. And there's probably a lot of you out there that have actually used this unconsciously. And now you're thinking, wow, this really does work. And you're remembering when you had done this unconsciously, like assume that you still had something, like in a relationship, like someone broke up with you or somehow it didn't work out, but you still really wanted that relationship, but you still acted as if you were still in that relationship. And by doing that, you still created that relationship to come back to you, or you created an even better relationship to come to you by doing that as well. So there's so many different factors when using the law of assumption and disregarding your 3D. You're like disregarding anything that happens in your 3D that you don't like and just assuming that state and disregarding the facts of your senses, and then going into your imagination and acting as if that never even happened to begin with, and you still carry on your rituals and your routines as if that didn't even happen. And then while you do that, something better comes into your life, or you get that same thing back in your life. But there's an aspect of this that a lot of people can't accomplish because they don't have a developed muscle of their mind, or they're not conscious of what they're thinking and what they're doing, and they're just constantly reacting to the 3D world, either from too much, instant gratification, or always having your attention attracted from without instead of being an intentional creator. But I have exercises on this that can help develop this part of the mind. So I'm going to post that video up on the screen right now. So click on that. That will assist you in developing the muscle of your mind to take your control back to where you're consciously creating things. Like you're constantly visualizing. It'll teach you how to picture and create things in your own imagination instead of just reacting to the 3D world with all this stimuli in the world these days, the stimulus that's in the world. Start creating from within yourself, creating your own pictures and using your imagination. So I'm going to put that on the screen right now. Click on that video, go through those exercises that I give you, and actually really do this. And this will increase your ability to manifest and really take you to that next level. All right, guys, I love you, and that's the end of this video. Don't forget to give me one thing you guys are grateful for, or any future content. Leave that in the comment box below. I read all of the comments, and I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.